you need to make sure that all the foundations in terms of the strategy, the data, the governance of the data, your system are integrated together, which as soon as this infrastructure is in place or you have the foundations, there is three important elements to support your mindset and your go-to-market strategy. Is, can you do AI automations? Do you have a clear view of your workflow based on what you design or what you want to achieve? The second thing is, do you know how to do these orchestrations of your system to get you the data that you want to feed your workflow? And the last piece is, do your system are integrated? If you can articulate these three pieces together, today you can become, you will have a better chance to achieve what you think in terms of a strategy.
Your business's success depends on relationships with customers, relationships with employees, and relationships with stakeholders. What do they all have in common? They're all human. Because no matter if your business is B2B or B2C, it's really H to H, human to human. Welcome to the Human Connection Podcast. I'm your host, Carl Ponteau. Each week, I bring you stories, insights, and practical advice from experts that you can apply to your growing company and daily life. This week, I'm excited to connect with Franck Ardourel. He is a globally recognized customer experience, AI, tech, and marketing strategist with over 25 years of leadership across Fortune 500 companies and high-growth startups. A former CMO and technology executive, he specializes in omnichannel growth, AI-powered marketing transformation, and data-driven revenue acceleration. He is the author of multiple books on customer experience and personalization, and the creator of executive training programs on AI-driven CX leadership. Franck also teaches marketing at Santa Clara University and advises organizations on generating Gen AI or integrating Gen AI, MarTech, and predictive analytics into scalable growth strategies. Honored by Marquis Who's Who for his expertise in marketing and CX, Franck is passionate about helping organizations design intelligent, customer-centric systems that drive measurable business impact. Congrats on helping organizations design intelligent, customer-centric systems that drive measurable business impact, and welcome to the Human Connection Podcast.
Thank you for having me. You say a lot about me, but it's okay.
Yeah, it's a very impressive bio, and I'm really excited to have you on the show because I think what we're going to be talking about today is really important for a lot of businesses because a lot of them are still operating on kind of standard marketing funnel frameworks and models, and those really just don't work in today's business world. And so I'd love to hear more about your approach to kind of AI-powered client experience and how to better market businesses these days.
Yes, I think it's an interesting subject, and I think AI has a lot to do, but it's not everything. And let me tell you my last story with a solo entrepreneur.
Sure.
I'm just working with an exceptional entrepreneur that is the AWS professionals, and what he does is he advises organizations about how to save sometimes $500,000 over a year by just optimizing AWS. But he's just launched his business, and he reached me based on some connections. And I told him, yes, I leverage AI to optimize and perform better for acquisitions. Based on this approach, I've been minimizing the use of AI, and I've been optimizing the human touch. And how we do that, we use AI to scrap and enrich and find the account where you have an interest for AWS. But the beauty of our approach is we have decided to do a group email and send manually a group email to the organizations to catch the interest and turn the opportunity into a sales. And this has been super effective, moving the conversions from 0.5 to 10%. And why is that? It's because we are leveraging AI for all the core data, but for the communication itself and for the touch, we are every day, minimizing the reach. So we are sending maybe 50, maybe 85 email, but we target for the same organizations, the CEO, the CFO, the CTO. They receive an email talking about this entrepreneur and what he can achieve. And believe me or not, it's super effective. And I think the reason is because you have three executives that are decision maker that are receiving an email and sharing internally, hey, I received this email from this guy. It seems interesting. We can save 500K on AWS. We are spending today. And this is how the conversation came. And so what I'm saying is you can apply AI for a lot, but sometimes you have to be smart to understand where you need to stop the use of AI and bring the human touch. And in this approach, this is what I've done, and avoiding to automate everything with AI. So that's an interesting story, but it was we are starting getting amazing results.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's what the real benefits of AI allow companies to automate the stuff that usually would take up a lot of time, like the research and kind of gathering the information.
Exactly.
But then it frees up using that free time, that capacity in your team to focus on the relationship side of the human connections, the outreach and the communication that is needed to build the relationships and that trust, because people can tell when they're part of an automated chain, or just like the communication is like talking with a chat bot, that sort of stuff. But when you're able to really connect with someone else at a business, then that's what builds the stronger relationships that moves these bigger deals forward and actually leads to longer term relationships, because there's a deeper connection there than just the transaction that was agreed upon. So I think it makes sense that this guy, he said like the group emails increase the open rate from, or the close rate from like 0.5% to 10%. Was that what I heard?
Yes, exactly. Wow. Which also the spending on advertising is minimum. So it's but you need to understand that it's a young entrepreneur, so they don't have a lot of budget to invest. They cannot do programmatic advertising. They cannot do a big social media campaign. But what is important is when you have an average order value of at least 10K, and you can start the process. I think for this startup, the deal is to start this way. But after 3 months, if we get the success we want, we will be growing like crazy and adding more resources on different channels for communications. But that will be, it's like a go-to-market strategy to be put in place and evolve with your results and your profitability. But yeah.
Yeah, it definitely seems like a different approach to outreach, and even from like a standard like account-based marketing approaches that people have used before, which I guess they're also just trying to automate and it's probably lowering their effectiveness. But what is it, do you think, that made this approach, or like what do you see being the kind of the future of marketing based on the way the technology is changing things, what you're seeing with this case study that was so effective? What's kind of how can people adapt this to their businesses in a way that it will be, obviously it's not just gonna be like a one-to-one copy paste, but what's kind of the overall like mindset shift that people need to make in order to apply this sort of thing to their business?
It's I think it's the art and the science. The art of the professional that is going to work with his emotions and his knowledge of the business, and the science about how he's going to integrate the science, in this case AI, in his working process in order to do better optimization. So I'm going to give you an example. I created a grow performance system platform which allow you to plug your data in order to understand what is your customer lifetime value, what is your cost, revenue, net profit, churn rate. So the system itself is interesting. It's driven by AI, and I do analysis by AI, but I use AI in order to understand, based on the customer or the client, based on the result, if the result compared to the industry is better or worse. So it's a benchmark, which I couldn't do that. I would if you go back 10 years ago, it was possible, but it was a long research and we were not sure about the data. Today, with tools like Perplexity, you can collect the data from others and say, this is what they do and how they do it and the result, and you can compare yourself to them. So in this case, what I'm saying is you don't necessarily look at your numbers in your bubbles, but you look at yourself against the others in order for you to understand if, as a benchmark, you do better in your industry or you do worse in your industry. So that's one of the aspects. And the interesting thing is you can get this data within 10 minutes. And I said 10 minutes is a long time, so it's even shorter.
Yes, I think the access to the data and is a big difference compared to what it was, like I said, 10 years ago. And so I think it's a matter of, it sounds like what you're talking about is a matter of using that data to reach out in a way that shows understanding and is about to, and you can focus again on like the relationship side of things and not just about I think still a lot of companies their marketing is so much about like features and the tech side of things, or like the things that aren't necessarily about the people or the connection and the understanding their audience. Even though they have the data, they're still like marketing with the same kind of feature dumps and so that they've done before. So when you're working with people, when you're seeing what works now, how much of that is like using the tech better, and how much of it is just having a different approach or like having a different mindset when it comes to reaching out and what the messaging or how that affects the marketing? Because it seems like even though the tools to get the data have made things faster, a lot of companies still make the same marketing mistakes. So what do you think is the cause behind that?
It's a tough question. I will say, let me turn things in a little bit different way.
Okay.
There is a lot of stakeholder or executive today that think that AI is going to resolve their issue. So they are going to use AI for messaging. They are going to use AI for analyzing sentiment, etc., etc. And there is organization that want to use AI for personalization. There is when you are entering this world, you can be a genius, but you need also to have the technology to support how genius you are. And organizations, sometimes they don't have the foundation for that. So when you look at this new world, it's like an iceberg. You have the top of the iceberg where people are using their magic around AI and creating an applications. It's an experimentations, and they do it. The problem they get most of the time in most of the organizations is to roll out the strategy to make the optimizations optimum for the organization. And why they don't succeed or why they fail, it's because there is a lot of foundations below the iceberg, which is, imagine you have an experimentation about personalizations you want to roll out, but if under your organization's data is silo, you cannot collect data or event in real times, you will never achieve it. So my point is, you have the top of the iceberg, and below it, you need to make sure that all the foundations in terms of the strategy, the data, the governance of the data, your system are integrated together, which as soon as this infrastructure is in place or you have the foundations, there is three important elements to support your mindset and your go-to-market strategy. Is, can you do AI automations? Do you have a clear view of your workflow based on what you design or what you want to achieve? The second thing is, do you know how to do these orchestrations of your system to get you the data that you want to feed your workflow? And the last piece is, do your system are integrated? If you can articulate these three pieces together, today you can become, you will have a better chance to achieve what you think in terms of a strategy. So when you talk about people are still failing, it's because you have to get this optimum result of AI to give you the answer you need to drive the communications. So let's say you want to optimize your communications for linking or for an email template or a call reach. I think it's important for you to have all this information about your customers and all information about what are the best practices outside and how they work. And I think in the meantime, what will happen is you will minimize the risk of failure. But like I said, it doesn't remove your human touch, because this is where you have the art and to say, yes, I believe that, but my gut tell me that we should do that. So you can quickly do the optimizations, test, A/B testing, whatever you do. But everything I say about your structure, your tech stack, the way it is built, will allow you to do these optimizations where you want to go. And you have this MIT study or research that say 95% of organizations have failed. It's because they look at the top of the iceberg. They don't look at below how it needs to build. And that's the big things I'm bumping today. Everybody's talking to me about agentic AI, but I'm not sure they understand what agentic AI means. Agentic AI is not AI. It's a collaboration of AI agent. So do organizations are today ready to do an AI agent? Sometimes not. And why do they think AI agentic or agentic AI? And I got these conversations with the VP of engineer for a big bank in US. And I work for this big bank in US. I don't want to give the name because I don't want them to be to look shame, but he's thinking about agentic AI. But the bank today are way behind. They have to put the block together to get there. That's what I'm saying. So I think that the big mistake is to think advance and not understanding, do you have the structure to do it?
Yeah, the 100% the rush to slap AI on top of broken systems and dysfunction and think it's going to solve everything is a huge problem, because if you're trying to add a second story on top of a building with crumbling foundations that are barely standing on its own,
exactly,
it's not going to fix the foundation problem. And so so many companies are not run well. They don't have great systems and processes. Their people aren't happy. They're not communicating. They don't have great cultures. They're not just kind of fumbling along or kind of failing forward in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And just adding AI tools on top of that, or trying to integrate that when people aren't super trustworthy of management or the executive team, and they're not really incentivized. They don't want to change because they don't know there's all these kind of human issues and reasons for resisting change that a lot of organizations don't understand or take into account when they try and roll out these programs. So it's no surprise that the adoption rate or the success rate of these processes fails so much, because you're not really addressing the underlying problem, is that the business is poorly run, poorly led, and so throwing AI on top of that is just you're basically, it's actually another guest mentions like automating chaos at scale or something like that, or something that's like your business is already in trouble, like a dumpster fire. You just like, let's throw some more gasoline on this dumpster fire. That'll put out the fire. It's like, no, you're just making the fire bigger and burn faster because you're not addressing the underlying issues. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that the companies are like, they're not building strong relationships with their employees and with their clients, and they don't really, and like I said, all the siloing between departments and their lack of clear vision and direction at the company, that means that and adding agentic AI is not going to solve any of those underlying business problems that companies are facing these days.
No, that for sure.
Yeah, so it's a very interesting assessment on how that works, and I'm glad you're on the show, and thank you so much for connecting with me today, Franck. If you enjoyed this episode of the Human Connection Podcast, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Want to learn more about myself or Franck, check out the links in the show notes. And remember, no matter if your business is B2B or B2C, it's really H to H, human to human. Happy connecting.